Everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I want to share with you a product that has actually been around the market for a little while, but I just have so much fun with it. As you can see, I have just a wide array of items here on my workspace. We're going to work with magic foam stamps, and they're just the greatest thing in the world. So I'll start right out by showing you. We're going to heat the magic foam stamp with whatever you have for a heat tool. I have this. I actually have 3 of them, believe it or not. And I'm going to heat this for between 15 and 30 seconds until it gets good and warm. I'm going to pick it up. I do want you to see one thing though. It is not hot to the touch. And so this is a great tool that you can actually use with babies and stuff to get their handprints. As you can see, there's mine. But let me get that right out of there. And let's actually start with the crumpled paper. So we're just going to push this into the crumpled paper. And there's our crumpled paper design. Actually, I'm going to try and get a little bit more. So I'm just going to heat this out. Make my pile of crumpled paper there. Okay. There, I think I got a little more of it going this time. And you're not pressing hard, just firmly. There's the crumpled paper. Let's move on to the next one. This one we'll do, this great little frame I have here of my daughter and I from when she was just a little girl. She's all grown up now. But I really love the frame. So I'm just going to take this. And look, I picked up the mommy and me piece of it. Isn't that sweet? All right, let's do that. Now, I know all of us are loving our Cuttlebug folders. So here we have a Cuttlebug folder. This is the textile one. I'm going to do this on the raised side. I'm going to heat my stamp again between 15 and 30 seconds. It really depends on the heat that you get from your gun, from your heat gun, that is. And I'm going to grab the middle of this and just push for a second. And look at that beautiful texture. Now, I have 3 of these stamps, but I can actually make 6 designs because they have 2 sides. So let's just keep going. Let's do the other side of the textile one that I just made. And let's do it into a pile of beads. And you can use anything you have at home. A pile of paper clips, a pile of rubber bands, elastics, buttons, ribbons, string. It doesn't matter. Anything that you can push this into. Let's just take these off. And look at the great design that one left. Okay, now let's go back to the other 2 and heat the other side. I have a pile here. Oops, that's how to tell if your countertop is even. They all roll in one direction. I have a pile of just chain that I have actually, some vintage chain that I've actually collected for when I do my bead making. And I've heated this up, and I'm just going to push this into the pile of chain. And again, there's my chain. Okay, I have 2 on this side. I have 2 on this one. And let's do this one. I have an extra pile here. I'm going to take these loops away. That could be like your rubber bands, or in that case, those are those weaving loops that the kids use to make the pop holders. Do you remember doing those as a kid? All right, let's just go with a pile of money here. And you can flatten this out or leave this, any thickness that you want, but we're going to do that out. I actually got a few Canadian coins in there, which is great. I'll get some nice images here. Check that out. All right, now on to the fun part. Stamping them. Oh, it would help if I had paper. Let me grab some paper. I always use the paper tray, Stamper Select. I love it. It's one of my absolute favorite papers. All right, to stamp on anyhow. And I'm going to start with, I don't know, let's look at the chain one. I thought that looked so cool. So long as you're using a dye-based ink, these clean right up. Dye-based could be any Ranger ink, any Stampin' Up ink, any Close to My Heart ink, anything along those lines. You can use a pigment ink, but these are sort of like a sponge and they will eventually absorb the color. So all I'm going to do is just tap on my ink. I could brayer it on if I wanted to, but this works just fine. And what it's going to do is pick up all the raised areas, and I'm going to stamp. Is that not cool? Look at that background. And I could stamp again. And I can go back and pick up more ink. And I can just continue on creating a background for that. Look at that, isn't that awesome? All right, to clean up, I usually just keep an old towel handy that I've gotten wet. And I clean it off. All done. All right, let's try another one. Let's try the one we did with the beads, and let's do it in something a lot softer, like the distressed ink, the tattered rose. And actually, I'm just gonna rub this on, like you might do with as if you were rolling it with a brayer. And this is going to be a very soft and subtle look. Okay. Look at that. It looks like 1,000 little bubbles. What a great background if you were doing a fish card or anything like that. So then let's do it again. Look at that. And just continue on. Stamping until it stamps off. You're all set. Okay. Again, let's go back to your wet towel. Sorry about that squeaking. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn my paper over. That's the nice part about paper trays, that you can always use both sides. And let's do the crumpled paper, because that actually was a lot of fun. And and crumpled paper is something everybody can do at home. The other thing I want to tell you is that these magic foam stamps are only $1 a piece, and let's just think about the things that, in terms of crafting, that we can get for that kind of money. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful distressed image? Let's clean this off. These just make the greatest backgrounds. You hear the dog in the background? Sorry about that. All right, let's move on to the other side, and this time I'm going to go with the black, and I'm going to do the coins. And it's going to really pop. Okay, here we go. We'll stamp these coins. And look at that. So again, just creating great backgrounds, that sort of thing. Ink it up again. And I actually get the dimension. I can tell this is a nickel and a penny and that sort of thing. So that's really cool. The nice part that you can do with this is you can do personal items. So if you have some jewelry that's been passed down in the family and somehow you'd like to use it in your layout, lay it out and do one of these stamps. And you can then incorporate that into your card or into your layout. Let's just try one real quick here. I want to try the textile one that we did. Okay. Let me just rub this on. You can see when you rub the ink on how the design really just starts to pop. Okay, I think this is going to be gorgeous. And just some even pressure, and because it's a sponge, it's going to squish anyhow. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And that's all there is to these magic foam stamps. Now you're done with it, and you want to move on.